Hello, this is Tina with Content Creators Club, and I'm so excited to walk through today's newsletter deep dive. But before we get started, if you haven't already done so, make sure to grab the freebie in the description below this YouTube video. If you're watching this on my newsletter, from my newsletter, then definitely make sure to grab and check out the offer below this video as well. And so this one is gonna be a little bit rough, because I'm gonna walk through like some of the best creator lessons truly hit when you're at rest. And this is a lesson that I'm currently learning and I'm currently learning how to do. But I think it's important to give a level of transparency of both the good as well as the bad and ugly, right? And so I'm going to be completely honest. Like these last couple of months have been hard, like on all fronts. Like I wish you could tell you that it's been rainbows and sunshine and that it's just been beautiful every fucking day. Like no, that's not that's not the truth, right? Like the thing that I want you to know is that before you can ever see a rainbow, you have to have a lot of rain. And I say this because like there is a very real situation where in order for you to get a breakthrough, you some ways need to have a breakdown. And that's super hard, right? It's super hard to learn that. And in some ways, when you have this breakdown, like I remember writing this and I was writing this in my backyard at the time, but like when I was writing this, you kind of come to this conclusion that a lot of the problems that you have are kind of in some ways generated by yourself. And I'm not saying that, as a bad thing. I'm saying that as like sometimes you just kind of need to wake up and realize like 99% of the problems are kind of made up in your head and they don't truly exist. And sometimes we just create our own problems because either we're bored or we just, are so used to discomfort that we can never truly remain comfortable. And that has been very hard for me to kind of like work through these past couple months. And so, these past couple months, just to give you context, right, of like what has been hard, it's like I've been digging around for problems that actually don't fucking exist. And that is so frustrating, right? Because for the past, with the exclusion of last year, for the 2 years prior to that, like life was just really hard. I had a very hard time in life in general, that I got more comfortable with things going to shit than things going, to rainbows and sunshine. That this past year, and I would say this past 2 years, like I've had to really like learn and adjust and be okay and sit in comfort with comfort. And that's hard, right? Like talk about like going through the shit, man. Like anyways, like that's a different discussion for a different day. But, digging for problems again that don't exist, digging for problems in my relationships, in my work, in my business, in my health. And I've realized like it's just been truthfully a whole shit show of fucking self-sabotaging. And I'm sharing this with you because I feel like a lot of times creators just show the fucking good side. Like they just show like the beauty, everything's going well in their business, everything like that. But it takes a very real person to acknowledge when things are not the way that they look. And I hope you can recognize that I am a real person. I hope you can recognize that I'm here to tell you that like I also struggle. I also go through pain. I also go through shit in life. And I have like kind of doubts in my business and in life. And you're just kind of like, what the hell are you doing this for? Right. But there is this very fine line between like being critical versus being self sabotaging. Right. And so when I think about self sabotaging, I'm thinking of myself, like, of asking myself these questions of like, why can't I just accept that there are no problems, that nothing needs to be fixed, and that it's okay to allow yourself some fucking peace, right? Like, I think, when you take the time to ask yourself these questions, you're kind of demystifying or like kind of shedding light on the fact that like the problems don't exist. It's probably just a form of self-sabotage. It's a form of mindset shit that you got to work through, right? And I'm working through it. Like it's definitely a learning process. But the truth is that sometimes, and I feel like a lot of people feel this way, but very rarely will people say this, is like sometimes you just want to burn shit to the ground. Like you just want to like burn everything to the ground, say fuck this, like fuck this business, like I just want to leave. I just want to go. And that's hard, right? Like it's hard because you are your harshest critic and you are also probably impatient as fuck. Like I am all those things. You are not alone, but I want you to know is that like burning everything to the ground, when you get to that level, it kind of just makes you have to reassess, are you doing what you actually want to be doing, right? Is it enjoyable anymore? Or maybe are you pushing yourself too hard? Like I think that's kind of a situation I'm in where like I'm pushing myself too hard. And so as I'm sitting here, I'm not sitting in my backyard, but when I wrote this, I was in my backyard. It was a beautiful day. Um, I've kind of included that it's okay to be at a plateau. And I'm not saying a plateau in terms of revenue or anything like that. Like actually very honestly, like my revenue has gone very high recently and I'm super excited for that. But when I'm talking about plateau, I'm talking about like this level of just being at peace with where you're at and not wanting to have to fucking climb. Like climbing is great, but if you want to ever climb a mountain, like the tallest mountain in the world, I think it's like Mount Everest. I could be wrong, but like if you ever want to climb like a really big fucking mountain, like you need to give yourself some breaks, right? Like you need to have a moment where you just chill at the plateau. You just chill at where you're at. You take a moment, you rest, you relax, you take a reflection, you look behind you, you see the beautiful views, you see how far you've come up, you acclimate to the new height, you adjust your breathing to the new elevation, you just take a moment to just chill. Like that is a plateau, and I don't think anyone who's in a plateau is in a bad place. You're in a place of reflection, and that is okay, right? And so while it's been, a 3-year journey, I'm definitely not giving it up, and I'm definitely not burning the shit to the ground. Again, it's been 3 years. Like it's been a long process, and some of you guys have been watching my journey for a very long time. So thank you all who've been there, who've been the OGs. But it's time for me at this point to just sit back and enjoy the views. Like I know that I have like pretty much 95% of my business taken care of. The thing is it's not that my business requires me to work. It really doesn't. It's just that I fucking love to work. Like I genuinely love to work. And maybe you're an overachiever, maybe you're someone similar to me, but like if you're someone who loves to work, it's great cuz you get a lot of shit done, but it can also be damaging because you kind of have this level of onness that's not normal than most people. And I think there's this level of like, okay, you just need to turn it off. Like go watch some like TV, go watch some Netflix, go read a book. That's fiction. Yeah, like that's fiction, not nonfiction. Nonfiction is great, but not when you're trying to be off. But again, I'm just trying to sit here and enjoy the views. So anyways, I would love for you to tell me one win that you had this week, and I want to celebrate it with you because being in a plateau also means that you're enjoying the view and that you're enjoying how far you've come along, right? And so I just, I kind of want to create this video, mention this email because again, it's normal for you to want to burn it to the ground, but it's okay if you want to take a step back and if you needed that permission from anybody. I don't need to give you permission to do anything, but like if you needed to hear it, then I'm happy to, share it. But again, you are never alone, and so that's all I have. Now we're gonna kind of transition to the call to action because I always think it's important to sell in any opportunity that you have. So go ahead, do that. But I really want to, one of the things that I credit a lot of my, automation and success is really my $9 automation, my daily content generator that's allowed me to take a break from content creation. It allows me to disseminate and distribute my content to multiple platforms without actually me showing up on those platforms. And it's basically like my fucking phenomenal like content repurposing automation. Over 190 plus students have bought this $9 automation and they're helping automate their content repurposing in their business, creating marketing machines. So definitely recommend for you to check that out. I also want to let you know that we are going to be releasing our collaborations of the month email in the next 3 days. So make sure you sign up to become a member so you can be on the list of people who get those collaborations for the month. And if you sign up for an annual membership, I will give you our no work revenue stream that has added $1,000 a year into my content business, even though you don't have an offer. So that is all I have to have today. I hope to see you in the next video. With that being said, I'll see you later. Bye.